water just started. Jay was just like, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and break your water with a hook. So I'm like, what the hell? Break my water with a hook? I knew something was wrong at that point because I'm like, why are doctors in here? I'm 10 centimeters and did not know. So my epidural was on a pause. Oh, what's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, make sure you go ahead and subscribe so you can be a part of the family. In today's video, I am going to be doing a labor and delivery story time. I know y'all looking for the realistic day of my lives, day in the life of the newborn, 24 hours with a newborn. I know y'all looking for all those videos, so I wanted to go ahead and get all of the labor stuff out the way so we could get right into that. So without further ado, y'all, this is probably going to take me a long time because a lot of stuff happened. So let's jump right into this video. Let's start with just my 38 weeks in general. So I went in for my 38-week appointment at exactly 38 weeks. And at my doctor's appointment, you know, they were like, everything is going fine. I've been healthy my whole entire pregnancy. And I was already dilated to 2 centimeters. The appointment the week before, my 37-week appointment, I was 1 centimeter. So I was showing, like I had effacement. I was like, at 37-week appointment, I was like 70% effaced. So like I was showing progress of, you know, progressing. I know some people just assume you won't have your baby. You're gonna have your baby on your due date. I literally had both of my babies at 38 weeks and 2 days, and my water broke both times at 38 weeks and 1 day. But I'm gonna tell y'all how that happened, because you know, we got a little story. After that, I ended up checking myself into labor and delivery. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, the end of my pregnancy, it was becoming hell. If y'all notice me like being, you know, less consistent and stuff, it's because them last few weeks was tearing me up. Like I knew I was not carrying to my due date. I kept saying like, this baby is gonna be out of here soon. So I went to labor and delivery the day before my water broke. I was having contractions for 8 minutes apart, but I was not feeling them. They were like, you're having contractions and they're consistently 8 to 10 minutes apart, but you're not like in labor. So I was like, you know, cool. I didn't really feel when I was having contractions with Nayeli. I also drove myself at like 5 o'clock Atlanta traffic when I was in labor with my daughter. And, you know, like I wasn't like, but I was doing that this time. Not that bad, but stay to the end of the video so that you figure out why. Okay, so y'all, my bad. I got everything right here in my notes so that I don't forget. When I was in labor, I was literally trying to like type little stuff down so that I didn't forget anything when I did this story time. So after I left the hospital, they let me go. They was like, hey, you know, you having contractions, but ain't nothing really going on, so we're gonna go ahead and send you home. But they didn't give me an ultrasound or nothing, and they kept scaring me because they were like, oh, your baby boy is gonna be really big. I ripped with my daughter, so he was like, be prepared to rip. Expect a 7.5 to 8 pound, 8.5 pound baby. And I'm like, okay, I kind of want to go see my son, but I couldn't really get no 45D because at that point, like I had said, I'm 38 weeks, so they did show me one picture of his face, but I couldn't really get much because he was far down in my pelvis. At 33 weeks, they were estimating him to be 5 pounds and 9 ounces, I believe. So yeah, he was already big then. And it's not that he was big, he was long. And I kept saying that, like, I feel like he's long because when he was kicking me, I feel like kicks close to my back. I'm like, there's no way, like, your legs gotta be long. So anyways, I had booked the ultrasound appointment at Little Belly's just to check his weight, just to kind of ease my mind. Literally, the name of the ultrasound that I booked was A Peace of Mind. So I was just like, okay, I just want to check on his growth because if I do end up carrying this baby another couple weeks, like, it needs to sit into me that I could be vaginally, because I was like, a C-section is a no, delivering a huge baby. So I went there and they were like, he's measuring 7 pounds, 7 ounces. And they just kind of like, everything looks good. Boom. That day, okay, I went home. I kind of walked around my neighborhood. I'm going to say like the last month of my pregnancy, I was trying to prepare myself for labor by like just walking, making sure he was dropped down at my pelvis, you know, like, you know, really just walking. They literally recommend that you do that. So I went home and did that. I was supposed to like get on the ball, but I was tired. I had a long day, so I did not get on the ball. So the next day, I was like, you know what? I'm like, this is too much. I want this baby out of me. If you're gonna be somebody in the comments like, oh, 40 weeks, this and this, y'all want to rush and have these babies, your baby is considered full term at 37 weeks. I had both of my babies at 38 weeks. Neither one of them had any problems when they were born. I didn't have any complications. So if you tired, don't let people make you feel bad for saying that you're tired and you want that baby out, period. I was getting very just like overwhelmed, and I was like, I really want this baby out of me. Like, I'm 38 weeks. This baby needs to come out. So I dropped my daughter off at school. I went and got a Planet Fitness membership because I was like, walking around the neighborhood, it's hot, like I'm sweaty, and it was supposed to rain that day, but I was like, I'm not giving up on my walking because like I feel like this is gonna work one day. So this is really story time on how I naturally induced my labor because my water broke the next day after doing all this stuff. So I went into Planet Fitness and I got on the treadmill. I think I was running like 2.5 miles per hour. Walking, not running. Not running, y'all. Gotta remember I had a big stomach. So I was walking like 2.5 miles per hour, and for 25 minutes, it took 25 minutes for me to walk that 1 mile. Then after that, I was waiting on the Stairmasters to get open. Meanwhile, y'all, I had never been on a Stairmasters before. But I was like, I'm almost 10 months pregnant. We finna try these because on TikTok and everybody else been saying, hey, try this. I was willing to try everything except midwife's brew because I threw that up with Nayeli. And I was not going to drink castor oil because I just saw too much bad stuff about that. So I got on the little bike thing at Planet Fitness, and that was only like 13 minutes, and I did a mile on the bike. Like you're just sitting back, just pedaling. That's what I did. And I literally was just, I didn't know if the bike was gonna work. I just was like, let me just do something to keep my body active. So Stairmasters still were not open. Everybody was on the Stairmaster still. So about for like 5 minutes, I was sitting on the wall. Well, I'm gonna say no, like 10 minutes. I was sitting on the wall just waiting, had my headphones in. I had a little baby playing, and I just started like squatting, whew, squatting, whew, squatting. And then I was like doing little lunges, just stretching my body. Cause honestly, I was like, I'm just trying to like get my water to break. I'm telling y'all, activeness is everything. Also, a lot of people were like, get the baby in there the same way you got them out. I tried that like the day before. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I didn't do it the day that my water broke. So I did that, and y'all, this is all at like 9 a.m. in the morning. So then I finally got to the Stairmasters. Y'all, I only was able to do 5 minutes. I put on like a Lil Baby song. Once again, y'all know Lil Baby is my favorite. I'm gonna be at that concert on June 6th. Don't play with me. So I did the Stairmasters for 5 minutes, and I was like, I just at least need to finish out this song. And y'all, that was the worst part. And meanwhile, while I'm doing all of this, I was drinking pineapple juice because that same day I had went to go pick up some red raspberry leaf tea. I don't like any kind of sweet tea, Arizona tea, unsweet tea, nothing, no type of tea. So I was like really trying to dread like that. And I'm like, it's too late for me to start doing this anyway. But at this point, like I said, I was desperate. So had got that and my red raspberry leaf tea, cranberry juice, pineapple juice. Y'all, I couldn't take it. So I was like, it's just too nasty. So I just started drinking pineapple juice. I felt a little weird by like doing all that exercise because of course you want water. That pineapple juice is super duper duper sweet. So I was like, dang, like, ugh, I don't really want this pineapple juice. But I was like, if this was gonna break my water, then I'm about to keep on drinking it. So I was drinking that, and then trying to make sure like I include everything. So right after that, I went and I wanted water because, like I said, that pineapple juice was way too sweet. So it was a Dollar Tree like in the same plaza, so it was a good walk. So once again, I'm walking again. I could have drove over there, but like I said, I'm trying to walk to keep my body going. So I could have drove over there, but I walked all the way to the Dollar Tree in the same plaza. And I mean, it's not that far apart. Like it's probably like 4 stores in between. So it's a good little walk over there, whatever. And y'all, I'm being 9 months pregnant, doing all that was difficult. So I got me a water, ended up walking back to the car. So after I got back to the car, I think I went home, like chilled a little bit because I'm tired from all of that, of course. And I was doing like little yoga exercises that I would see on YouTube and TikTok, like natural yoga exercises to induce labor. So then after that, I did that when I got home, and I went to take a nap, and then it was time for me to get Nayeli at 5. So It was warm, a good day outside. So I was like, you know what? I picked her up. I was like, you want to go to the park, mama? And she was like, yeah, let's go to the park. So while Nayeli was at the park, I got on the swing and I was kind of trying to curve walk a little bit because it wasn't really too much I could do at the park and I got to watch my baby. So I was trying to exercise there. So we stayed at the park for like 30 minutes. The mosquitoes was out too bad, so we couldn't stay too long. I got home, and once I got home, I went at like 7 and I walked my entire neighborhood again. Like I said, I was walking my entire neighborhood once since I turned 9 months at like 36 weeks. So I walked my entire neighborhood again. I was supposed to get on the ball and do some more exercises, but when I tell y'all that gym had wore me out, I was done for. Completely done. So it's the next morning, the morning that my water breaks. What's crazy is I saw this video and I'm gonna show it to y'all really quick because I am very spiritual. I believe a lot of stuff has a spiritual meaning behind things. So when I saw this, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Okay, I can't find the video right now, but basically it was a TikTok video. It was like a spiritual video. Like if you're watching this, whatever time that you're watching this video, put that and see the importance, the meaning, like biblical meaning behind this. And when I did that, it was like 8 o'clock or something. So I went on Google and I Googled like 8:04, whatever time it was, AM, biblical. What did I Google? I do not remember. Most significant Bible verse associated with 8 and 10. So what came up, it said new beginnings and resurrections. Number 8 is often known and associated with new beginnings, resurrections, and regeneration. So it says like Peter, this was my sign right here, y'all. I knew I was going to go in labor soon. Circumcision, because that's something I was super duper nervous about, my son getting circumcised. And from the Bible, it says in the Old Testament, male infants were circumcised on the 8th day, signifying a new beginning with the covenant of God. So I was like, how could they just randomly say that? And that's something that I've been worried about. Also, y'all, we were all kind of just guessing, like, when do we think baby boy is going to come? I should have said this in the beginning of the video. Nayeli said May 15th. My water broke on May 15th. Jay said May 7th. May 7th has passed, so I'm just like, all right, Jay, your little guess don't count. I said I was going to deliver my son on May 16th, and I delivered my son on May 16th. And the reason why I said that was because my grandma, who passed away, she was, her birthday is September 15th. I found out I was pregnant on September 15th, her birthday. So when I found out I was due in May, I was like, I know I'm going to have this birthday on her death date. And my great grandma's, her birthday is May 16th as well. So it's just like me knowing like I'm spiritual like that. I just was like, it's just too coincidental for it to happen. And it happened. So I knew my due date this whole entire time. Let's actually get into when my water broke. So I got up and I was actually getting ready to film my nest with me videos. If y'all watch my other videos, y'all know I kept saying nesting video coming soon, this. And my whole plan was to do like the bottles, sterilize. Y'all can't probably tell right here, but like clean my stairs. My daughter got writing on the wall, clean my carpet and do all that. So that was going to be a good little nesting video. So I was like, you know what? I'm about to get up and start filming. So as I was literally doing my hair, no, I felt a little bit of leaking, but I was doing that at the end of my pregnancy. And I would tell my doctors, and they're like, one time I got checked into labor and delivery, and they was like, yeah, you could be peeing on yourself, it could be just discharge, and it wasn't amniotic fluid. So I was like, okay, cool. So that day I felt like a little trickle, but I'm like, okay, kind of normal. I felt it again, like within the next like 5 minutes. So I was like, is this my water? Because with Nayeli, I was having trickles all day. It's not like the movies every single time where you just have a big boom and water starts flying everywhere. It happened again within like another 5 minutes. I didn't have no pads, because y'all think about it, I haven't bought pads in a long time because I've been pregnant for almost a year. So I found one pad and I was like, you know what, I'm going to put this pad on, and if I see more water, number one, or if I start bleeding, then I'm going to know something is going on. So I'm going to say it had been another 5 minutes. I started putting on my clothes, getting ready dressed for my YouTube video. Like I always fill in my eyebrows and put my lip gloss on. I'm doing my makeup for real when I record. I just literally do this like what I'm looking like right now. So as I'm doing that, I'm sitting and I feel like more coming out. And I'm like, okay. So I called my sister. No, I text Jay and I was like, I think my water is breaking, but he's at work, so I didn't want him to just leave. So I kind of waited a little bit. So I called my sister and I stood up and I felt more come out. After I stood up and I felt more come out, I was like on the phone, FaceTime my sister, and she was like, push your stomach, because if it's your water, if you peeing, you can stop your own pee. But if it's your water breaking, you can't stop it. So I literally stood up. I'm gonna try to import the video in the video right here. Pushed on my stomach. When I pushed on my stomach, it just like started pouring. So I'm like, oh shit, my water just broke. So then I'm like, okay. It started kind of, I'm calling Jay at that point. I'm like, let me call Jay, let me tell him to get off. So I call him, he like, okay, I'm on the way. A lot of y'all were like, did he think it was a prank because of the last video? No, he was like, I knew you was for real. So he called. It felt like he took. I know it probably only took him 10 minutes to get here, and his job 20 minutes away. But because of everything that was going on, I feel like I was stressing. It felt like it took him like an hour to get here. But I pushed on my water, and I literally was like doing my hair already to film. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot. This might be the start of a labor and delivery vlog. So after that, we didn't have his car seat put in his car or nothing. So we trying to do that, get out the house. The hospital that I delivered at is an hour away, and get there and get some food and all of that. I got in there. And we got out the car to start going up to labor and delivery. When I stood up out the car to get something out the trunk, water just started. I'm gonna say, so my water broke at like 11 a.m. By the time we got there and like settled traffic, it was like probably like 2. So Jay was just like, what the so it just came out all on the concrete, like, and then we started heading up there. I'm checking in. I'm like, hey, I think my water is broke, and they're like, okay. As I'm checking it, it goes all over their floor. I have on a long, flowy, pretty maxi dress. It's all over my dress, and I think like when they saw how much was coming out, when I was in labor, they didn't even check to see if it was my water. I was like, are y'all gonna check me to make sure, or am I peeing on myself? What? But when they saw that, I guess they was like, yep, we know that's your water, so cool. So I ended up going in the waiting room for a little bit, and I'm gonna say probably like 15 minutes. We were sitting there. They had me sitting on like this pad so that I didn't just be leaking stuff all over the floor. And I had on a pad, and that pad was soaked through like already from in the car. So on top of that, it was just like leaking. So they had gave me another pad to put on while I was waiting. So I ended up going in. Let's get back to the notes because I don't want to miss out on that. I went to the hospital and they were like, when was the last time you got checked for dilation? I said yesterday at my 38-week appointment, because I'm 38 weeks and 1 day at this point. And they were like, I was 2 centimeters. So they was checking me. They said, okay, you're already 3 centimeters now. So I'm like, okay, cool. So that whole time, like, nothing's really happening. They kind of just checking my blood. They doing the basic stuff. Checking my blood. They went ahead and admitted me before they even checked. They never checked to see if it was my water, but they admitted me already. So I was kind of like, bro, please don't let this just be a false call, because I really just wanted to know that was my water breaking. As crazy as that sounds, it had been leaking and leaking and leaking. I was just in disbelief. So they took some blood from me and pretty much just started doing their normal check-in stuff. So after about an hour and a half, I'm gonna say, I was in a triage room. They ended up moving me up to a labor room, and they was like, we're just waiting on one of the labor rooms to get clean. We had to deliver a lot of babies today, so that's why it's not a room cleaning right now. So I went up to the labor room. They went ahead and gave me an IV because I had to get antibiotics from having GBS, strep test in pregnancy. It's a normal pregnancy bacteria, but they do put you on antibiotics in labor if you have it. And I had it with my daughter, so I already kind of knew how it would go. And basically during labor, I was on penicillin for every 4 hours. So, and I'm mentioning that because when I get into like when it was time for me to push and all that, I want y'all to remember that I was on a lot of medication plus the antibiotic at the time. So, I'm there and we're just kind of waiting. They're like, I feel like they was trying to rush me to have my baby. Not saying like in a bad way, but like, they wanted this to progress. Like, okay, girl, we ain't gonna have you here all day, all night, and none of that. So they were like, you want to go ahead and get the epidural? I'm like, no, I'm only 3 centimeters or 4 centimeters. I know I could wait it out. And they was like, okay, just let us know. Make sure you're keeping us updated. And I had a very great team. So they were like, do you want to work? I said, can I eat? Y'all, I cannot believe they let me eat So I ordered some DoorDash, and while we were waiting on the DoorDash order to come through, I had went ahead and started walking. Me and Jay was walking the hospital floor. We was only walking for like 20 minutes. And they was like, if you walk, you lay here, cool. They was like, you want us to go ahead and get the Pitocin and start opening your service? I'm like, no, kind of let my body do this on its own. Not saying I'm gonna get the medicine, because I knew I was getting epidural from the day I found out I was pregnant. Like I was like, yeah, not going natural, not for me. Maybe built for you. You are God's strongest soldier if it is, but that's not an option for me. So yeah, they were like, you go ahead and walk, and that'll help speed up the process. So I'm walking, me and Jay walking, just walking the hospital floor. I love that because I had Nayeli during COVID, so I did not get to experience that or anything like that. So we came back, and they were checking me, and they was like, okay, you're still 4 centimeters. I mean, like you're 4 centimeters at this point. And I kind of wasn't moving up into, and they was like, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and bust. She checked me again. When she checked me, she was like, your water bag, you still have some water in your water bag. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and break your water with a hook. So I'm like, what the hell? Break my water with a hook? So she went ahead, she broke my water, and she was like, now, do you want to get the epidural first? Because once I break your water, things could start happening like quick, ASAP. And it may not give you time to get the epidural. So I'm like, call the anesthesiologist. So he came, he gave me the epidural. Jay was like real chill. I know a lot of y'all want to know his reaction. He was kind of real chill the whole entire time until we get to the end when I was pushing. So they went ahead, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk fast, so I don't want this video to be super long. So I got the epidural, I'm gonna say at 9:30 p.m. Meanwhile, y'all, I checked in at like 3:30 p.m. So it had been like 6 hours. I got the epidural finally, and I believe, yeah, I was still at 4 centimeters. They opened my water, and I started to progress, but slower, like not as fast. I was still having contractions like every 2 to 3 minutes. They were bad, and I was having contractions in the front, not the back. So they were bad, but it wasn't like super bad. Some of them I couldn't feel still. Like I said, my body does not feel contractions, so I did not know I was contracting. And so I was looking up at the monitor. So this is when they started to pick up after she broke my water. And she broke my water at 10:20. So and I had my son at 7. I just was sitting there contracting, but I had the epidural and all of that. So throughout the night, I don't really remember everything, y'all. Stuff started becoming a daze to me. Like they had went ahead and I don't know what time they gave me the Pitocin. They gave me Pitocin, and I think that's the medicine. Pitocin, Cervidil. I don't know which one it was. They gave me something to help me dilate. So let's skip into, because at that point it was just a wait in progress, waiting on my body to dilate, waiting on my body to, do everything. So at that point, let's get to like, I'm gonna say I had him at 7. Let's get to about 5 p.m. My blood pressure, 5 a.m., my blood pressure started to like drop, and his heart rate was dropping. And this was super scary. Hold on, y'all. It's a dog outside next door. So if y'all hear him barking in the back, or me keep looking over there, it's because I want him to shut up. So my blood pressure was dropping, and his heart rate was dropping significantly, like very, very, very low. So they kept shooting me with like blood pressure medicine to get my pressure to go up. And like I'm talking, when I tell y'all, like it felt like every 10 minutes they was pumping me with medicine, because I guess they were trying to, thank God, but prevent me from having to get a C-section, because I never saw midwives. At my practice that I was going to, I never saw doctors. You only see doctors if you're high risk or you have problems. So I was only seeing midwives. And at that point, 3 doctors had came in, and I knew something was wrong at that point, because I'm like, why are doctors in here? So they were trying to do something to make my blood pressure go back up and his heart rate to elevate a little bit more. So, and I don't know why I was doing that. I'm assuming it was all the medications, because this is when they stopped my epidural. So there was a button that they gave me when they gave me the epidural. They was like, if you start feeling pain, but like I said, I wasn't feeling contractions this whole time, really. Like a few of them I did. Now, once I got to, it's like 5 a.m., baby, they start hitting. So I never had to push the button. So he did give it to me in my back already, but it was just like a reflow. He was like, you could press it however many times, but it's not going to allow you to overdose yourself. Because if you don't know, fentanyl is in an epidural. So I'm like, okay, cool. So it's like 5. I was asleep. The contractions woke me up, y'all. I was like, Ooh, I was crying. I felt nauseous, like I had to throw up. I'm waking Jay up. Jay is knocked out. I'm like, Jay, like get up. The nurses was not in there. Like I was like, this is when I started crying. So I'm like, oh my God, like I'm just in pain. My blood pressure was dropping too low, so my epidural was off. That's what woke me up, because at this point, y'all, I'm 10 centimeters and did not know. So my epidural was on a pause. So I'm moving too fast. So my epidural was on a pause. My midwife came in. I'm telling the nurse, she's like, it's just pressure. I'm like, bro, this is not just pressure. I'm crying tears. Like, I felt like I was sweating, like just overwhelmed at that point. My body was just in so much pain. So I'm like, it's not pressure. So eventually the midwife comes in and she's like, let me check you. We're gonna check. So she was like, you're a 10. Jay woke up. He sat up. He said, so he stood up. At that point, like he was sleeping, but he wiped his face. He was like, I could tell he started panicking. And when he saw how I was acting, like I was just like in so much pain. I was, oh, y'all, terrible. Like it was hurting very bad. When I yelly, I didn't go through no pain. So um, I was like, y'all gotta turn the epidural back on. They was trying to get me to push without the epidural being on. I'm like, I'm not doing it. So it's like, it's gonna take like 10 minutes to kick in and his head is right here. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not pushing nothing. It's this epidural is in. So it finally kicked in a little bit, but not all the way. They was like, because he's so far down, it's gonna give you some pain. I mean, it's gonna give you a little bit of relief, but you gonna feel something. So I'm like, okay, 10 minutes go by, I start pushing. I think I was pushing for like 30, 35 minutes. I was pushing in cycles of like 5. Like it was like, all right, 1, 2, 3, push. And I was, not, they was like, stop pushing with your teeth. They was like, cause I was like, and they was like, push silently, because I don't know what was going on. I just didn't know. I just trying to get this baby out of me. So I did that, I'm gonna say like 7 or 8 times for like 30 minutes. And that's when my son finally came out. So I was like, I was so out of it. He was crying, but I was like, why he not crying? Everything in my head was bent like this. I just looking at Jay and it just felt like I was going like this. Like I was out of it. So my son came out, had good, healthy, no NICU stay, no problems, no complications at all. He was perfect. I came out really good. They didn't have to give me anything for my blood pressure after he was out. Um, it was good. But the only thing that really was like terrifying was, one, them, like the doctors was like, we don't know what to do. And I'm like, 2, them like having to get ready to be in 10 centimeters with no epidural. I'm not the one that's built to go natural. No. So that was like the worst part, y'all. But overall, that is how my labor went. Like I said, I did want to go ahead and get this video out to you guys before I start doing all my other stuff, because I was like, dang, they got to get the story time. Y'all saw the vlog, but like I said, being in all that pain, vlogging was the least of my concerns at that moment. So I was like, I gotta get them the details. I gotta tell them how my water broke, all that good stuff. So yeah, y'all, that is my story time. If y'all have any questions, y'all can let me know down below. But make sure y'all are staying tuned into my channel, because I got all the family content dropping. I got some couples content that up my sleeve. I got a lot of stuff that I've been planning to do, especially because I'm not pregnant. So my body is kind of like getting back to normal. By the way, I'm filming this on May the 25th. I believe I'm 9 days postpartum. Yeah, I'm 9 days postpartum. I'm doing well, healthy, during recovery. Just blessed and grateful for my babies to be here. Just loving life at this moment, enjoying motherhood. Anyone, I know y'all be asking how I'm doing. That means the world to me. So yeah, that's it for this video. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram and my TikTok at Deja Tamia, and I will see y'all next video. Bye, y'all.